Okay, so there have been rumors and whispers that Lisa from Blackpink and Jungkook from BTS used to date. To be for real, I hadn't ever heard of these rumors before, but I guess they've been around for a while, and the recent YG leaks resurfaced speculation. So I looked into it, and y'all, they have a kid together. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That's a bad joke. You'll see what the tea is, though. Of course, everything I say is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only, and with peace and love. And let's go. Okay, Lisa's on the left. Jungkook is on the right. And this is the energy in between. 24/7 way. That's so interesting. Okay, so I mean, honestly, like Jungkook's energy feels like unfavorable. It's not so much as like dislike, almost. It's sort of like his energy almost feels like it's moving away from Lisa's energy. I don't know. Anyway, Lisa showed up originally as the Five of Wands, which is like a lack of fighting. I don't want to fight anymore, or a lack of like pettiness in some way. Jungkook showed up as Eight of Pentacles, which is like working at something, like focusing on your business, doing your thing. The Temperance in the middle is a lack of harmony. It can be a lack of balance, a lack of exchanging of emotions. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case for them. It could mean like really like there's no connection between them. The Death is like a rebirth. The Ten of Cups is unhappiness at home. The Queen of Swords would be facing towards Lisa's energy, which is like speaking like sharply or unfavorably in some way. Jungkook's energy so far feels a little bit unfavorable towards Lisa. That doesn't mean he himself is, but his energy is. Ten of both got Pentacle cards. Okay, what's going on? Okay, Lisa got the Ten of Pentacles, which is looking back satisfied. Lisa feels her energy is like kind of like ho-hum about him. Like if you were to ask her like, what do you think about Jungkook, she'd be like, yeah, he's cool. Nothing like too big, but it is like positive, I will say. The Ten of Pentacles is like looking back at your life satisfied. You see there's a couple right here, and there's a man looking back, and it's almost like him reviewing his life. It's also, the dogs can sometimes indicate loyalty. Jungkook showed up as the Seven of Pentacles, which is like, that's so interesting because he got this card, which is like working at something. And then this is like the fruits of your labor not paying off. And then the Three of... There's something very weird happening here, actually. The Three of Swords in the middle is like heartbreak. It can... getting over it. It can also be like disappointment and getting over that. It can also be no love lost. I think that's what it is, too. No love lost. I have an inkling of what's going on, and it's going to sound like really like weird. You're going to be like, that's... Okay, sure. Like... Ace of Wands... this is like giving. It can also be like the past, but it can also be in exchange of things. The Emperor is like power, starting something new. Bonnie and Clyde. Page of Cups, a lack of creativity. Walking, but her energy is walking towards him. The Magician is like, a lack of fulfillment. Can I tell you something? And you're gonna be like, girl, I feel like I've not been that tapped in. What I'm learning is there have been rumors about Lisa and Jungkook for a while, really like hush-hush type of soft rumors. I think those were intentional. I think what was actually supposed to happen, and it seems like this was supposed to happen years ago, is there was supposed to be like bigger news of this, where it's sort of like kind of almost, and I don't know if this like actually like happens in Korea or not, but it's giving like there were supposed to be planted stories that Lisa and Jungkook were dating. They weren't, I don't think. Like the energy is not giving like lovey-dovey dolls. It's almost giving like I barely know you, I almost know of you, is how like the energy reads between them. But let's go back why I think this. I had to pull a lot of cards to extract this. Okay. So we have this, right? And this is like working at something, being unhappy about it, and that's on his side, right? And this is the fruits of your labor not paying off. This is like a lack of like pettiness, like no petty fighting. Death is like a rebirth, and the Ten of Pentacles is like looking back at something satisfied. This is no love lost. This is communication, and Temperance is a lack of balance. Already, to me, that's giving like on Jungkook's side, like he was supposed to do something or say something, or something was supposed to be like put in the public for him, and he was unhappy about that. That didn't happen though. Almost like he was supposed to put in work, but this work seems almost like as if like they were supposed to be caught like wearing the same necklace or something. You know how K-pop fans are, and I think companies know how K-pop fans are. This seemed like literally was going to happen probably around like 2019. This seems like older energy, much older energy, like 2019, maybe 2020 or something, whenever Blackpink was more colorful, I guess, because that's what I keep picturing. I keep picturing Lisa with like red hair and that like bob, you know, that's what I keep picturing. Anyway, around that era, it also would have been around the time that BTS started to make it very big in the United States. I think there were supposed to be planted stories about the two of them dating. I don't think they were dating. I don't think they really know or are that close to one another. It seems like this was something intentional by the companies. It seems like I don't know if K-pop companies really do this, because I feel like we would see more of that, right? Most of the time, dating scandals are like, usually the idols probably are dating. This seemed like something that was supposed to be more Western oriented. It didn't go through. I think one of the companies was like, actually, I don't know if we want to go down this route. Also, you have the Ace of Wands, which is the start of something new. This is like giving and taking. This seemed like it was more to help Blackpink than it was to help BTS. Also, this doesn't necessarily also seem like it was mostly like Jungkook and Lisa. It seemed more like it was about BTS and Blackpink, and almost like trying to underhandedly link them, so it's not overt, to like, I don't know, make them more, because I mean, like, that would have been such tea back. Could you imagine, like, back in the day, both like massive idols from massive groups? I think this is something that's super duper common in the West, and I think it's just something that like both are like Korean-based companies, and like, we don't want this. I know this sounds like super wackadoodle, and you're like, girl, like, shut up, but I feel like that's what's happening. This seems very old energy. Seems like an idea that was floated very strongly for a while, and then they were like immediately like, actually, that seems like a bad idea. You have to imagine both fandoms are very protective, very, you know, ravenous. Blinks and armies are a little bit, you know, they are very dedicated. So, but the Emperor is like power, though, almost like power lorded over you. It seems like this was something that was maybe brought up more by YG than it was brought up by Hybe and whoever is in charge at Hybe. What was it at the time? Big Hit? Okay. So then you have the 8 of Cups, which is like, you see these guys walking towards Jungkook's energy and away from emotion. I don't really feel like either of them think about each other or really have ever thought about each other. It's not so much like, oh, I'm not your type. It's not so much, I don't even like you. It's like they just really haven't spent a lot of time together to really know, you know? I also feel like they had interests in other people in the industry as well. They don't really, like, their energy is not very familiar with one another. It's like, oh, I know of her, I've seen her at events, like, we've said hi a couple of times, but it's really not that close. Jungkook, I can't tell, because his energy feels negatively, but I can't tell if it's about Lisa or if he's just going through something right now. It's hard to say. The Magician, though, is like, we were going to manifest something and it didn't come through. It's almost like something did not come to fruition, but they were trying. You know what I mean? The Hierophant, that would have been, I think Lisa would have been like, not like gung-ho, like, oh yeah, like Jungkook, but more just like, yeah, I'll do it. Lisa seems very like down for whatever. She's like, will it help my career? Like, sure, like, whatever. I also think this might have been around the time when people, and I can't remember because I joined K-pop after this, but I think people were kind of like less interested in Lisa. This seems around the time when she was maybe a little bit more unfavorably viewed in the public, but for a petty reason, just because she's not like Thai and not Korean or something like that. It seems like around that time. This is like beating back sticks. Like Jungkook's energy, if it's interesting. Lisa, chill, doesn't give a fuck really. Jungkook is like agitated. That's his energy. It's agitated. I want to move away from this. I don't know if it's more like a morality thing. And when it was presented to him, he was like, why would we do that? I don't know what it is. It's hard to tell too, because like Lisa's energy, I can pinpoint more so the time of like when she's feeling this. His energy feels both past and present, but I can't tell if it's really about this or not. It's really funny. Queen of Wands in the reverse position. I also feel like Jungkook, I'm gonna make people mad. Girl, they're adults. I feel like Jungkook was either seeing someone at the time or had interest in somebody at the time. I think Jungkook has dated before and dates, and I think he has for a while, or at least had like, he had his eye on someone else and was like, why would I? It's both like from an optic thing, it's both from like a career thing, and also like I feel like Jungkook, I think he is actually very interesting in how he has sort of like, he has principles, but they're also very gray at the same time. Like sometimes he'll be like, no, like that's morally bad, and then he'll do something that's like also morally bad, but he's fine with. That's kind of the vibe. I don't know. It seems like there was history, but it seemed like it was almost like manufactured. I think that's why you'll see whispers and like hints of it. They really didn't have anything going on, but it's almost like people tried to make it seem like that, and then they were like, actually, this isn't us. It's so weird. Page of Wands, yeah, that's like trying to create something, and then it's like, no. Wheel of Fortune turning in your favor, giving and taking. Yeah, this makes me think that whatever the arrangement was, it was going to benefit both of them, but it was going to benefit Lisa or maybe Blackpink at large a bit more. To be honest, I keep seeing YG presenting something to Big Hit at the time more than the other way around. And it seemed like Big Hit like actually entertained it for a while, and then both parties came to the conclusion of like, oh, like that's not going to work the way we want it to work. That's actually like really bananas. Could you imagine? Judgment, Pentacles, King of Pentacles. I feel like had this happened, things I mean, maybe not to you, but surprisingly I think would have looked worse for Jungkook than Lisa. Like people would have been more upset at him than they would her, which I think is kind of unusual because usually people are more upset at the girl. I think Lisa would have been judged unfairly, but it's almost like this would have brought more headache to Jungkook. That's funny. I just don't think they really like think about each other. They're somewhat in each other's circles because they're K-pop idols and they're like really famous, but like it's almost like who you think like the girls are close to in BTS and vice versa is very different than what you would expect. So I think Lisa is close to some members of BTS, but it's not necessarily Jungkook. Jungkook kind of seems like checked out and like angry. We should do a reading on him. What's he up to? Alright, well, good. Put that to rest, I guess. I don't know, I'm just reading cards.